Hey, what's up guys? According to pro players, Clash Royale might have massively messed up. Even after a few small nerfs, nothing is slowing down this disgustingly toxic deck. The ranked 63 player in the world is shamelessly annihilating pro players with this deck. Pros are sick of losing to players much worse than them because this deck is way easier to set up than it is to defend. And if the best players in the game are complaining about it, unable to defend, there's probably a problem. This strategy with the deck is beyond brainless. Drop your royal recruits in the back first play, and cycle through your cheap cards like minions, rage, and goblins and get to your recruits evolution. Throwing evolved recruits at your opponent's towers as often as you can is the secret to win with this deck. When they overcommit on one side against the charging recruits, you go Goblin Giant in the other lane and inflict pain. This skillless strategy is one of the most infuriating decks to lose against. So it's time to flow through with our rage spam to assert dominance and make all of our opponents rage quit. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on any of the daily videos. And lots of love to everyone that's supporting the channel with credit code SirTag. Hey, we got a game against only one. This guy finished 865 in the world. I feel like he's gonna have a lot of fun with not just only one recruit, but 6 of them bashing his tower. So we're gonna go for goblins immediately and see what he's gonna have. Oh, a skillful rage individual as well. He's well cultured. Oh man, I think that rage is synonymous with the least skillful decks in Clash Royale. So yeah, of course he's gonna be running recruits. One of us, one of us. I can't believe that a top 850 player in the world would also be wanting to play the same deck as us. Maybe he knows it's strong, so he wants to push up the leaderboard fast with it. It makes sense. It actually makes an entire amount of sense. All right, well, we're gonna try to make some positive elixir trades with these recruits. Generally, we want to be fighting on our side of the map with the recruits because then we can use our princess tower and then we can bolster up more recruits to go and counter push and crush our opponent. Also, if we can rage on top of the little prince, that'd be huge because we're going to be able to melt the little prince. He has no damage per second. No, that's actually bad for me. He's going to activate king tower. Please, Goblin Giant, just die. Yes! I'm so lucky. I was telling him to die and he listened to me. I gave him the kiss of death. That's what I gave the Goblin Giant there. Thankfully, Clash Royale nerfed it for that purpose. Clash Royale, thank you for making my Goblin Giant better with the nerf. In some very specific situations, it is actually better with the nerf because the old Goblin Giant would have activated King Tower there. Anyway, the guy used arrows, so I could go for recruits, but I feel like that'd be a bad decision. Instead, I want to go recruits in the back and build up a bigger push. I could have also Little Prince, but at the same time, I don't really want to do that. I want a Little Prince in the middle so that I can multitask and finish off all the recruits on both sides. We are playing against a very good recruits player, so I need to make sure that my placements are optimal here. Little Prince is going to pop off. We can fireball on the skeleton dragons, finish those off as fast as possible. And then I think we start to target the right-hand side too. Yeah, look at that Little Prince. Automatic machine gun mode. It kills everything. Does it lock on his Little Prince too? Aw. If his Little Prince walked up into my Little Prince, it would have stayed in that machine gun mode and I wouldn't have had anything to worry about. It's unfortunate it didn't work like that. I'm going to Goblin Giant and just copy my plays. Is this like the mirror game mode right now? Is he playing with his brain or is he just copying my strategies? This is the kid that cheats off your math homework in class and I don't appreciate it, you know? We're going to go for the rage to maximize our damage output and then we're going to go for minions afterward. So the reason we're doing that is just we want to save our Little Prince for a little bit longer. Oh! Wait, he doesn't have the same deck as me. Oh, I thought he was cheating the entire time, but he's pulling out the arrows, which kind of different because our fireball gives us more damage per second on the tower. And, ooh, our Little Prince is going to win that interaction hard, enabling me to go in for a Goblin Giant here. Maybe I can pull his Fisherman with my Fisherman and go for Goblins as well.
Round 1, fight.
Yes, I think that works, maybe? No, it didn't, but the Goblin Giant's still in the tower. If we can rage up the one Goblin with the Goblin Giant, the Goblin Giant summoned a Goblin friend and just exponentially increased our damage output. And you know what? Only one, there can only be one winner. And one Goblin getting all of the glory, which interestingly enough wasn't the Goblin Giant. It was a standalone single stab Goblin sealing the deal and securing the victory. Our greedy Goblin slid us up some ranks to 3,100 in the world. Hey, we got a game against someone with the Battle Healer banner. And if you didn't know, there's a little bit of an Easter egg, a giant skeleton tucked in the corner. Wait, this guy's gonna have the Cannoneer Tower. So that is extremely different. You do not want to be going and spamming your Goblin Giant very aggressively in this matchup. Instead, you want to be spamming your recruits and your goblins. So he's gonna go in for a Barbarill. I think it's gonna be better for us to go for our minions and preserve our Little Prince until we can immediately identify that he's not gonna have a balloon deck. It's actually extraordinarily scary for me to go for Little Prince right now. I'm gonna Fireball on the Inferno Dragon. I don't think I'm gonna get much extra value, but I can put it to a point that I don't have to worry about if he doesn't support it. Which I doubt. I bet you he goes in for a miner or something obnoxious here. If not, we can go for a Fisherman in the back. and hedge our bet that our opponent doesn't have Giant Skeleton. Because if we see Inferno Dragon, I highly doubt that you're going to have the utter destruction of a Giant Skeleton too. Feels like a bit of overkill against tank decks. So I'm going to go in for recruits in the back and just split them up. Reason why we do that is we want to cycle the evolution, and when it's supported by the fisherman, we might be able to go and pull the bowler here, which this guy is not having a good time with. He's going to lose the lumberjack, and now we can identify that it is actually in fact a balloon deck. When we see lumberjack with bowler, there is no chance that it's going to be graveyard, and there's probably a less likely chance that he's going to be running an electric giant or maybe even a golem deck. So I'm going to go for a minions here, and I think we might even go for a rage if he drops any bait cards. Bait means that it's immediate rage for us. If he's not going to, we're going to chill a little bit and we'll figure out what we want to do after he decides to expire the freeze. And the Spirit Goblins, man, they're just doing whatever they please. But they're just out of the toes of the rage. Unfortunately, they're not dipping their feet inside the pool of the rage to collect some positive elixir trades with even faster attack speeds. But it is what it is. I think we can go in for Royal Recruits at the river because obviously most towers do pretty well when they're princess towers. However, when you are having to deal with an evolution of recruits and your towers don't attack very fast, that is a recipe for disaster, man. So we are definitely going to force out an abundance of elixir here with the lumberjack and also the bowler. So you know what I want to do is I want to go for our minions after the lumberjack is a little bit further away so he can't finish that off. Then we can fireball and rage, and I think he just loses his entire tower here. I'm pretty confident the Inferno Dragon is not going to be able to defend, and then our meta's end. So yeah, we're just going to be able to defend with our Little Prince, and it was important to prioritize after we cycled our minions to keep our Little Prince in our hand, because if we don't have minions or Little Prince, we're definitely dead to balloon every time. I'm going to go for a fisherman to go pull the bowler, and the rest of the game should be locked up and easy.
A few dominances asserted later.
So that was a dominant W, and there's no doubt I would have snagged a second tower or potentially 3-crown him if we just had a little bit more time on the clock. And we're clocking out with a win and a well played from our opponent too. You love to see such solid sportsmanship. Usually people rage and Goblin laugh every time they lose. But with the rage of the lumberjack, the guy didn't feel the urge to rage in real life too, as we're raging up the ranks to 2,100 in the world. So it's time to give Juice a healthy amount of spam. It's going to be a green juice for him with Goblin Giants and Goblins swarming the map. So he's going to go in for a Prince first play right into recruits. That is exactly what we like to see. This is going to be the easiest. Oh, wow. I was going to say easiest defense ever. And the man immediately mutilates our defensive combo with a Mega Knight Zap. Jeez, dude. You are vicious. And hopefully this Prince is going to taste nutritious because we are going to be able to eat it. But at the same time, we are taking a ton of damage because the Prince did charge our tower. However, the recruits are getting it all back and more, which is something that I do adore. I love getting that amount of value from our recruits. They're like little charging princes in some attributes. All right, we're going to go Goblin Giant here to activate King Tower and stop the bandit. I think that was worthwhile. You guys notice how I was hovering the Little Prince, and I was like, this is probably the play. And then I realized very quickly that the Little Prince would have gotten annihilated. So I shifted gears. He's going to also click the ability early on, which is fantastic for me. Now the Guardian is out, and he is going to pout because he has no way of crushing the recruits, or at least I assume. Also, doesn't the Little Prince just look at the card like it's just going to be whining all the time whenever it's losing? It seems like the most obnoxious card in Clash Royale. Y'all let me know. Out of all the cards in Clash Royale, which one do you think is the most obnoxious? And if it's not Little Prince, I disagree. So I'm going to go in for a Little Prince in the back in the same side as the Mega Knight. Wait, the Mega Knight looked like it was about to jump in the other side for a sec. We're going to go for a Fisherman, and we've got multiple ways of pulling off this defense, literally. So I'm going to go in for a Little Prince ability, and then I'm going to go in for a Rage. Wait. Were they fighting over the defense there? That was so weird. That was wonderfully weird in the best way possible. I'm pretty sure if the Little Prince didn't knock back the Mega Knight for that minute period of time, what would have happened is the Mega Knight would have jumped on the Little Prince, and then it would have ended up like getting not pulled by the Fisherman in time. But working together, they figured out a way to defend. The power of teamwork there allowed us to be triumphant on defense and probably secure the bag for the rest of the game. I mean, we got 50 seconds left. We've got a Goblin Giant on his tower already. I assume he's going to go for another Mega Knight, but he's so screwed.
A few dominances asserted later.
And here he goes. This is the Mega Knight that we were talking about, but this time he's going to have an Evolved Firecracker with it. So I'm going to have to go in for a defense with the Fisherman prioritizing on the Evolved Firecracker. Then I'm going to go for a Rage, and we will walk away with a defense, I believe. Wait, this is slightly more sketchy than I wanted it to be. We have 100 HP on our Tower of Dream, but most of the time when we see a Mega Knight deck with Evolved Firecracker, they're not going to have any reliable way of dealing damage besides Zap. And Zap will definitely not do enough, my dude. Despite that Firecracker looking at my little prince and potentially getting splash damage on her tower, she didn't have enough health. She's got to go to the gym and get beefier and learn from the Mega Knight. Maybe if she stole the Mega Knight's armor, she would have survived that one and put us in some pain. But there's no doubt, even if he took the tower, we'd have just Goblin Gianted in the middle after spamming recruits and walked away with an easy victory. Hey, this guy's got a Golem and an Evolved Valkyrie in the banner. That would be one of the weirdest card combinations I've ever seen. Valkyrie with Golem does not work. Usually you want to run like a Dark Prince or cards that give you a lot more pressure with your Golem because it is oriented on offense mostly, and Valkyrie is typically a defensive card built to be played with Minor Poison or Hog Rider decks. You focus on defense instead of trying to do the best of both worlds where you have a Valkyrie and also a Golem in the same deck. Yo, this is looking really good. I think that if we can activate King Tower with this Electro Dragon, I'll be happy. I don't know if it's necessarily the best tactic, but I am going to do it. It will give us one stellar shot for the King Tower activation. Let's go. All right, so most of the time you can activate King Tower with the Fisherman, but you can have creativity here too with a low skill deck as well. We're going to go in for our minions here because the Electro Dragon is out of cycle, and I don't know if he's going to have a good response to that. Also, he's going to use a Skeleton Dragon, so we can Fireball on those and keep one minion alive. Marvin the Minion, it is marvelous for you. Please lock in the tower if we rage you up. Yes, sir. So, because we rage, there's no doubt our opponent's raging on his device. He's looking at the game, and he's like, Jake, I hate this thing. Don't ever do that to me. But we have to. This is how you play Goblin Giant. You spam when you have an opportunity, and you deal an unrealistic amount of damage. So I bet you goes Golem in the back. We're going to go recruits and try to apply pressure and catch him Goleming. Oh, we caught him Elixir Collectoring. Even better. So that's going to be very difficult for him to defend. I don't know what he's going to do with charging little princes coming at him. Yeah, they're basically princes. If you think they're recruits, you're wrong. They've basically got a built-in evolution to a card that costs 5 Elixir. I don't know why Clash Royale decided to do that, but I'm all for it when I'm playing recruits. Very much against it when I'm playing against it. So I'm going to go in for a Fisherman here and then also going in for a Goblin Giant on the other side so then we can apply pressure on both sides. So then he's going to have to defend. Oh, wait, that would have been phenomenal Fireball value. Wait, is it still? Is it still? Say less. Say less, game. Thank you. I can't believe this. His left-hand tower is in shambles too. There's no way. Both towers are definitely defied and deleted. I can't believe that. Oh, wait, we can do this. Let's go and pull the Golem to the other side before he's ready. And then we can go in for recruits to go and counter the Lumberjack. I'm so happy we made predictions. His entire push is in shambles. It's all disoriented at this point. And I can Fireball in the Electro Dragon if I want to. I don't really want to right now. I kind of want to go in for Goblins. But at the same time, this is a little bit scary. So let's go for Goblins up top. And then make sure that the Electro Dragon just dies to the minions. Overall, as long as the Electro Dragon doesn't take my tower, we know that he's not going to be able to take a single one. We monopolize the fun, and this guy is done. With 11 seconds left, he got destroyed to the point he took 0 towers, and we dominated both of his with an onslaught of aggression, ready to monopolize the fun with the 3 crown. I mean, this is crazy. I've never won games so easily. Especially after the nerf, this shouldn't be possible, but it's just blatant proof that Clash Royale did not nerf this deck near enough. Royal recruits are steamrolling every opponent we play against as we charge up the ranks to 1,600 in the world. All right, this guy's flexing every 20-win banner, so you already know. As we push up higher ranks, I mean, this guy is bound to be one of the best players in the world. And we're going to show him the superior, biggest brain tactic, the ones that you guys see from the best players in Clash Royale, recruits in the back. Also, why does he have Wizard? I guess it's probably a Sparky deck. Generally, Wizard is only played with Sparky at higher ladder, but he is going to end up having a giant skeleton. So that is a giant surprise for me. Did not expect that. I don't want to see presence of bombs on my tower soon, but that's definitely what's going to happen. So I have to dissect this push and go in for a Fisherman, and then I can maybe manufacture a defense here, but I think that we have to prioritize killing the Wizard and then maybe going for minions off to the side. Definitely going to be difficult if he gets a spicy NATO, and he does. Oof, this is not looking good. I mean, that was a really well-played maneuver from our opponent. He ended up sacking a lot of tower health, but at the same time, he did a concentrated amount of damage that puts him in a pretty sizable advantage. So he deserves that well played, honestly, but at the same time, we got our charging recruits, so it doesn't even matter. It's better to go in for recruits and spam it because it's a built-in elixir advantage. You know that you're going to get recruits value every time that you drop them, so it's like a Elixir Collector, when you're cycling the recruits at the start, it doesn't really feel that way, but you're playing aggressive and you get an Elixir Collector. That's the way that I like to think about it. Any evolution that you can spam at the river or at the time when your opponent's down Elixir means that you're probably going to take their tower. So that's kind of what we're hoping for. We're trying to get positive Elixir trades all the time. Also, we can rage this up to mutilate the skeletons and then hopefully take his entire tower. I mean, Goblin Giant, even though it got a nerf, when it's raged up and the opponent doesn't have enough Elixir to defend, it is going to be merciless. It's going to take everything out. The guy might go for a Hog Rider, and we'll have to go for a Fisherman that go and activate King Tower, but, I mean, we're in a commanding presence already, and this guy played so well. I don't think he could have done anything differently either. Okay, yeah, still another really good play. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he went for the Knight, so then I couldn't go in for the Fisherman to go and pull the Hog Rider. It would have targeted the Knight, so obviously the guy's mechanics are phenomenal. He knows what to do, he doesn't want to mess up, and he's not giving us as many opportunities on defense, which lesser players would do. We're going to go for minions, and I definitely want to rage this up so we can go and kill the wizard if that's possible. That would be nice. Do not get to finish off Harry Potter, but we're putting our opponent in a pretty hairy situation. His King Tower is at 2,800 health. So, you already know, I'm back to the Recruits evolution. That wasn't even meant to do anything, my dudes. He doesn't have Wizard in cycles, so I think he's going to have to spam pretty viciously with other cards, and that's exactly what happens. We're going to fireball this back, and then we're going to get our Recruits here to go and clean up the Evolved Knight. Finish off Harry Potter first on the back of the Giant Skeleton, saying, Giant Skeleton, you can't go and protect the wizard any longer. And then we're going to go Goblin Giant in the middle, and I wonder if he has to go in for a Skeleton Army on the right. I bet you has to stop this with a 3-crown with the Skeleton Army. I mean, you kind of have to, right? We're going to rage it up, and you might just die to Goblins, man. He might just die to Goblins. I genuinely think that this is a very scary situation for my dude, because he doesn't have any real mini tanks anymore. He just cycled his huge Giant Skeleton, and I think that locks tower and we win. Yeah. That was the easiest 3-crown ever because we identified his deck as only having 2 good ground defenses with the Giant Skeleton and Skeleton Army. Noticed they were out of cycle, popped the ability, and stole the win. Because if you don't have a good ground defense for the Guardian popping through, you can't guard the Guardian. She has special tactics of teleporting on the 3-crown. As we continue to instant transmission up ranks to 1,400 in the world. Like, subscribe for more daily videos, and have an amazing rest of your day.